Cool. Just let's take a look what we had with the to-do list. It's gonna be localhost 5500. This is what we did last time. Okay. And if I type to do one, hit to do two, hit to do, which is fine. Everything is function normally. Okay. 100. Yep, save it. It's saving fine. But what happens if I refresh the page? All the data is gone. Okay. We'll try to convert our application that our data will stay in the UI, even we refresh the page or refresh the whole application, our data should stay in the UI. That's what we will try to implement it today. Okay. That is related to the local storage and the session storage. So local storage is a type of web storage that allows websites to store data in the browser persistently. It is related to the browser, right? Every single browser has a local storage, and we can save some data in the local storage or session storage and use it in our applications. Okay. The key points for the local storage is that data persists across sessions, even if the browser is closed. And when you close the browser and open up a browser again, right, from fresh, local storage data will still remain as it is. Okay, it will be still there. The size of the local storage is 5 to 10 megabyte, and data is stored as key value pairs. And we'll see how can we manipulate the data in the local storage and what are the commands related to the local storage. The data is accessible from the same domain due to security reasons. This is very important, guys. The data is accessible from the same domain. Meaning is that this is the domain that I'm opening my browser right now, right? Basically docs.google.com. And if I open up my local storage, well, it's not allowing me. Let's take a look at to-do list, okay? Basically, this is a localhost domain. And inspect, how do I reach out to my local host? Basically come down here and find application. Okay. And this is my local storage. A key value pairs, right? Local storage data is stored as the key value pairs. Then this domain, localhost 5500, the port number, has a local storage for that domain. But if I come down here for this guy right here, this is completely different domain. Basically, it's a completely different URL, right? Website. And if I inspect, this one will have different local storage. And if you save some data in the to-do list over here, it will not be visible over here because due to security reasons, the data is accessible from the same domain only, right? From the same domain only. If I open up to-do list from here, and if I open up to-do list again over here, I should be able to see the same local host, local storage data on this side too, because I created over here, and I'm opening up in the same domain, I'm opening up the local storage. It will be visible. But if you open up in different domain, basically different URL, then the local storage will be different for different domains. Let's just keep that in mind, okay? And the stores data with no expiration date. There's no expiration date until you delete the data from local storage, it will stay there. Okay, it will stay there. What about the session storage? The session storage is another form of web storage that stores data for a single session. This means the data is cleared once the browser tab or window is closed. Okay, if I open a new tab, I do have session storage over here. The same way I open up a local storage, we come down to application, and this is the session storage over here. Right? It's going to be the same thing, key value pairs. But the session storage data is available only for this window tab only. If I close this tab, my session storage data is gone. Okay, my session storage data is gone. Compared to local storage, compared to local storage. Even if I close all of the windows, right, all of these browser windows, and open up a new window browser, my local storage should be available for the same domain. Okay, it will be available for the same domain. Cool. And it's there's no expiration date for local storage. Data is cleared when the page session ends. Data remains okay. The data remains available as long as the tab is open and the page is not refreshed or navigated away from. Okay, the data will be available as long as the tab is open and the page is not refreshed or navigated away from. Data is only available during a single session. Data is cleared when the page session ends, closing the tab or window. It has a similar storage limit as local storage, about 5 to 10 megabyte. Also uses key value pairs, and the data is accessible from same domain. Okay. Here's the difference between local storage and session storage. It just summarizes what we have read in the first and second slide. Lifespan of local storage is persistent, survives browser restart, and for the session storage, only for the session until tab or window is closed. The scope is shared across all tabs windows from the same domain, but session storage is specific to the tab or window. The capacity is pretty much the same. The access is available to all pages from the same domain, but the session storage is only available to the page tab that created it. All right. When should we use local storage and when should we use session storage? We can use local storage when we need data to persist beyond the session. An example, user preferences, themes, settings, etc. And the data should be accessible across different tabs and browser windows, right? So for example, if you like to keep the user logged in across multiple sessions, then local storage is our guy. What about the session storage? When we only need the data to exist for the duration of a single session. This is typically used in banking applications, right? They allow us to be logged in a single session, and if you close out, they will log you out. If you try to log in back again in a new window, they ask the password again, right? An example, shopping cart data during browsing session is definitely used for session storage. If you want the data to be automatically cleared when the tab is closed, that's when we can use session storage. Okay. We don't want any data related to any type of activity that we are doing in the website to be saved in the local storage. We want the data to be cleared out, okay, so that we can remove any type of trace of our actions in the browser. Action, storing a user's input in a multi-step form on a single page application. All right, let's see how does it work. So there's 4 commands that is related to us. Okay, it's related to the local storage and session storage. So let me type them right over here. Commands. Basically, it's going to be for both of them. All right, so it's going to be for both of them. So local storage that set item. And right over here, the first one would be the key. The second one would be the value. All right, so we saw it over here, application, key, and value. We're trying to set an item in there. We're trying to create a value in here, right? So local storage dot set item key value, and same thing. Local storage get item. Get item. In this case, we only need the key part. Okay, we only need the key part. And we also have remove item. Remove item will just provide the key. If it provide the key, it will just remove the data that we have in the local storage. Okay, and we also have last one is just clear. Clear will delete every single data in the local storage. Whether you have multiple data stored in the local storage, it will just clear all of them. Okay, it will clear all of them. So if I come down here and if I type local storage dot, you see here, get item, key, length, remove item, and set item. Looks like we do have a length too. We basically just like array.length, okay, to check the length of this local storage. Let me copy this one over here and do the same thing. Local storage.length. Okay, so when we try to set new item into the local storage, this part has to be a string and this value has to be a string. All right, both of these has to be a string. How does it work? If you try to make it dynamic, yes, definitely can make it, right? But let's see how can we do that. So local storage dot set item, okay, and the first part has to be a string, to-dos, for instance, okay. Let's just say let's say hello, right? And then the value has to be string too. The value has to be string too, right? The thing about is that if you would like to save some sort of array, right? Array of objects or object uh, into the local storage, you have to convert these any type of data type to a string. And how can we convert that? Who can tell me how can we convert any type of data type to a string?
With a JSON string file?
Exactly. Yep. JSON stringify is our command to convert any type of data type to a string. But for now, we'll just try with a regular string. Okay. So hello world. Cool. Local storage set item hello world. Okay. We did the first one, and we just need to get item, type the hello, the key part. So remove the second part, and we're gonna say get item, right? The local storage, get item, hello. It brought us the value, okay? Just like we're basically reaching out to the object value, okay? With the method. So if I come down here to the application, as you guys can see, hello world. Okay, hello world is persistent now. So if I type over here, localhost 5500 and come down to the inspect from the same domain, right? Local storage, as you guys can see, hello world is also over here. Now this tab is different, and I mean, is a different tab, right? But they are in the same domain. That's why we are able to see it. But what comes over? What about this one right here? See, as you guys can see, I'm still in the local storage, but since we are in the different domain, it is not displaying the key value like hello world. It's a completely different domain. Okay, it is a completely different domain. For the same thing, console.log, I would like to do set item hello world 1, hello world 2, and if I type local storage dot length, I have 3 items, right? I have 3 items in my local storage, and I know that hello 1, hello 2, and we know that with the command local storage length. But if I would like to remove one of those, I need to type the key part, right? So local storage that remove item and put hello2 in this case. Now it will remove from local storage. Hello2 is gone. All right, hello2 is gone. Let me put it back, hello2 now, and check it out. Hello2 is back, and we would like to use local storage clear. Local storage dot clear method. Okay, let's check it out, our local storage. Everything is gone. Okay, the clear will delete every single one of them from the local storage. Now the length is 0. All right, so if I have an array, constant an array is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So local storage set item, and right over here I have to say JSON.stringify, okay? JSON.stringify, and it's gonna be array. But before I do that,
Maybe assigned one variable, maybe.
yeah, so JSON stringify will look like this. Okay, it's a string version of array. Right? It's a string version of array. So what I would like to do is set item JSON stringify array, and for the thing numbers. Okay, numbers. Cool. Local storage, as you guys can see, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, just like this, we can save our to-dos array of objects, right? Array of objects to the local storage, and when we refresh the page, it will still stay there. It's not gonna go start from top to bottom, right? It's not gonna go, I mean, it will go start from top to bottom, but it will grab our items from the local storage and display it in the UI, even if we refresh the page. Any questions related to this local storage? Session storage is exactly the same thing as what we had over here. If I type session store, let me just clear the console first, right? Control L. So session storage dot clear get item key length remove item set item is exactly the same as what we had for local storage, but it only works for this tab only. All right, so we are saving, right? We are saving local storage get item. Where's my get item? Get item numbers. If I get my numbers, it is still a stringified version of array, right? So basically, how do I convert back to normal array? This string back to normal array?
JSON parse.
Yes, JSON parse, exactly. Constant parset is equal to local storage dot get item, right? And numbers. But of course, it's gonna be right over here, JSON dot parse. And at the end, I just have to wrap the whole thing because this one was returning a string version of array. Okay, and now I need to parse back to a regular array. Right, so now if I type parse it, parse it, now it's displaying regular array. And now we can do anything we want with this array. When we setting to local storage, we are stringifying, and when we are grabbing from the local storage, we have to parse it.
So in general, we can say that if we want to store something, we need to make it JSON data. If we need the data in our JavaScript, we need the regular data.
Exactly. Yep. If you would like to store anything to the local storage, this value has to be a string or a string version of any data type. Okay. That's why if this one has to be a string, then we have to convert any data type to a string with the help of JSON.stringify. Okay. Well, the thing about JSON.stringify is that we have you guys need to be very careful when you guys are using JSON.stringify for objects. Okay, for objects, you guys need to be very careful. For instance, let's assume, right? Let's assume that I have an object called constant object one. Let me create it with, yeah, that's fine. Constant object one, okay? And I type name, Alex. Let's type like skills as an array, right? JS, PHP, etc. Okay. Back. Okay, age, too much, 45. All right, so if I console.log JSON.stringify object. Okay, so clear object is not defined, object one, sorry. So this is the stringified version. Okay, it is fine, yes. And at the same time, if I would like to parse back again, JSON.parse, this is what I would see, right? The regular object that we created initially, we're just converting back to string, and then we're just parsing it back to regular object, which is well fine, right? But we have to be very careful when we are dealing with the key value pairs and the value part is undefined. Okay, if it's undefined, then we have to be careful. At the same time, if we have a function inside the object, that'll be a problem too. Okay, that'll be a problem too. What I mean by that is that let's put address as undefined. Okay, and if I stringify, it will just stringify regularly. But if I parse it back to object, okay, this is stringified version. Okay, again, here's the thing: the value is undefined because of the fact that the value is undefined, it did not convert into a string. See, I don't see the address part over here. Okay, I don't see the address part. So if in the parsed value, right, in the parsed version, we don't see the address anymore over here. That's why you guys need to be very careful. If your array of objects contains some sort of data, the key value and the value is undefined, it's not gonna convert to a string. It will just ignore it. It will take it out. It will exclude it, and it will convert the other ones, right? And the stringified and the parsed version, it's not gonna be the same object as you try to stringify over here. Same thing with the functions. If I have my function, arrow function, doesn't matter what kind of function it is, okay? And inside my function, I will say console.log hello world, right? Console.log hello world. See, my function is not here and my address is not there. JSON stringify is not converting this address that has a value of undefined, and my function is a function, right? And in the parsed version, we would not see the address and my function. The same thing goes for child objects. It doesn't matter what it goes, right? Child object is called, this one is also object, and this one is my function 2 in this case, and this is the function. Okay, so the child object is there, but it's not printing out, it's not parsing basically, right? It's not converting this function into a string and back to parsing it back. All right, do not use JSON stringify and JSON parse to convert your object or arrays or other basically the other data types is fine, but in terms of object and arrays and functions, we need to be careful. Otherwise, we will lose some data along the way. Okay. This is for some instances, we can use JSON stringify and JSON parse to deep copy, right? Deep copy arrays or objects or array of objects. Okay, we can use it as long as you don't have the value undefined or the function for your array of objects. You can use JSON stringify and JSON parse. Okay, but in for other instances, if you have functions or the key value pair that the value is undefined, then don't use JSON stringify. We have some other options to deep copy our array of objects or objects. And it's also called a deep cloning, right? Deep cloning. Okay. There are some packages that provide this type of services like a deep cloning. For instance, Lodash, we can definitely install to our React applications or Node applications, and we can use Lodash with that. And they have this Lodash contains a function that is called clone deep, I believe, something like that. Okay, this type of function. But don't worry about that. We'll come to that point where we utilize this package in our applications. Cool. Yeah, let's go back. Any questions related to local storage, session storage, and JSON stringify or JSON parse?
No.
Cool. Yeah, just keep in mind, do not use JSON parse, JSON stringify for deep copying every single object or arrays. In some instance, most of the time it will work if you don't have the value undefined or functions. You can definitely use that. Okay, so let's go back to our to-do list again. Let's try to implement our local storage knowledge into this. Cool. What I would like to do is take this one out and bring this guy over here. Yes, go ahead.
I have question, Azamat. So the inside this text, it's is it input?
Say that again. Oh, it text right here.
It's the input, right?
Yes, that is definitely input. Yep.
But when we type something and when we click the add to do, so it should be appeared below, and it's also gonna be input, right?
Right.
Yeah,
This one.
yes.
This is probably input. Yeah. I'm not sure. I need to take. Yeah. This is input. Yep.
Because when I did with a div, and no, yeah, at first I did with div, it didn't work, and then I did with text area. Oh my God, it gave a lot of problem. My add even listener didn't work and
Well, div, you cannot do that because you have to somehow make it editable, right?
yes,
We
yes.
somehow make it editable so that we can change the text and then save it again. Okay. So this project you guys already have it. So git remote -v. Yeah. So this is the project that I shared with you guys last time. I can definitely share it again with you guys. Cool. It's in the meeting chat. Okay, cool. So if I refresh the page and it's gone, right? So what we were adding over here, let's try to make it manually, right? We'll try to make it manually. Last time we had two options. The first one was the array version, right? This one was basically on, right? Because we have every time we make some changes on each to do or update a to do, we were just running a to dos. We were just running a for loop, okay, and we were just making the change. We're running for loop and we're making the change. And this over here too, we're just filtering it out and updating the to dos array. Okay, it's gonna be very simple change. This guy was the object version. Right? We started from initially empty object. This one was empty array. Okay. Let's try to do the array version, and we're gonna convert back to object. So let's try to do it manually. Right? Inspect. I get we cannot do it manually because we have to somehow. Actually, we can do manually. So here's the thing, guys. When our project starts, right? When our project starts from top to bottom, we are basically reaching out to the elements that we have over here. Okay. And one thing to consider is that if my individual the variables that I'm creating are starting with the same const, okay, const, I can remove this const and remove this semicolon and put the comma in between, okay? And do the same thing for this guy over here. You guys already know that option word, right? So instead of for the first one, I can put const, and for remaining the next two variables are also needs to be created with the const, but I can put colon over here. Sorry, comma. Sorry. Oh my goodness, I forgot the name. I can put the comma in between and just put the variable names. It will still be created as with the keyword const. But if you would like to create it separate, then you have to put a semicolon in between, and then you have to type a constant over here. Okay, that's the other thing. So what we want over here is that instead of starting empty array, we want to reach out to the local storage and check it first. Okay, we would like to reach out to the local storage and check it first. Do I have to-dos in my local storage? Okay, this is what we are going to do. I'd like to bring this guy down and open up the console. Okay, close this guy. And I need to check local storage that get item. I want to check if I ever created the to-dos key and the value, right? Sorry, get item, that's it. To do get item. if I don't have anything, it will return null. Okay, but if I have something, what it is going to return?
Sorry.
If I have something in the
Gonna
in the
return the data.
what is it going to return? It will return the data. What kind of what type of data it will return?
With
JSON data value
No, what the value has to be always what?
object. It's gonna be
string.
object now.
String,
String
right?
by object.
Yep, string version of object. What am I opening this one? Sorry. String version of object. Okay, so get item numbers, since I have numbers. Oh, one more. So this is a string version of array. Okay, so if I don't have anything, it will return null. But if I have something, it will return the value, right? It's a string version of that. So this is what I'm trying to do. I would like to see, right? I want to confirm, I want to see if I have local storage to-dos first in my local storage. If I have local storage to-dos, then use the data that is coming from that local storage. Right? But if I don't have it, right? If it's a null, then what I would like to use?
You need to use. You need to.
Empty.
Empty array. Yes. So to do that, guys, we can use OR operator. Okay, not AND operator, but OR operator. So right now, get item numbers. If I do this, it's gonna be the value because I have something over here. Right? I have something over here. But if this side is true to value, okay, if it's a true or true or false, I mean it's gonna be true, right? True or false, it's gonna be always true. That's why I'm using the left side. But if my left side is null, which is false value, right? Basically to-dos, I don't have to-dos, then it's gonna be empty array. This is what I'm gonna do over here. I'm gonna say if I have to-dos array of objects, then use that one. Otherwise, put empty array. Okay. So before I do that, guys, I would like to get the parsed version, right? Not the string version. Okay. So
What?
yes.
So the actual local storage get item to this usually returns something like the value. So but
Yes.
how the JavaScript now understand it's gonna be boolean true or false?
Because of the coercion, right? JavaScript under the hood, it does convert because of this OR operator. It will convert, right? It will convert both sides to Boolean, and it will compare both of them. It will compare both of them. So basically, if I have a data, which means it's a true to value, right? And it will, if the left side is true, then it will use.
So now the
Null, yes, or
now is always false. That's why it's returning
True.
yes,
the
null is
right
always,
side.
yep, undefined, or okay, 0 or false,
Yeah.
or okay.
Yeah, I
Since,
remember that class.
yes, since local storage get item will return null, and we're comparing it. If this one is null, right, then you use empty array. If it's not null, right, if it's not null, something like
Any value.
1, 2, 3, 4, okay, or empty array, then it's gonna be, we're gonna use this array right here, the left side, okay? If it's not null, this is what we are trying to do. So instead of this part right here, we'd like to get the parsed version. So constant parsed storage is equal to JSON.parse. Okay, JSON.parse local storage.get item. Now we have to put parsed storage. Parsed storage. Okay, if I refresh the page, now my data should be coming from the local storage. So since this is my data over here, right? This is my data. I'd like to copy this one and put it back. And I want to set manually over here. I want to set manually over here. First of all, I need to convert this guy to, right? This is my array. Array 1 is my two objects, basically to the 1 to the 2. And I would like to set local storage that set item, okay, to-dos, comma, JSON dot stringify, and put my array 1. Oops, I forgot my here, right? I put it like this: local storage that set item to-dos, JSON stringify, array 1. If I check my to-dos, you guys can right here, I have two to-dos over here. Completed, ID 1, text 1, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is the string version. So now what I would like to do is it's going to be same thing, right? To-dos. And right over here, get item. Can get item. So here's the thing. Since my local storage contains to-dos over here, right? What's going to happen if I refresh the page?
It's gonna appear.
Unless
You see that? It is grabbing from the local storage and using that array of objects and listing out in the UI. Even if I refresh the page now, it's going to always grab it from the local storage. It's persistent now, right? It is persistent now. So if I delete it, if I refresh the page, what's happening now?
it's going
It's here.
you already saved the local storage.
That is the thing. Yes. So when we delete it, we somehow need to update the local storage, right? So we need to do more stuff when we do different types of actions over here. Okay. So this is for getting, right? This is for getting.
Can you, for example, for the delete button, just add local storage get, not to get, but the removed item? In your delete button, the function delete,
Yes.
if you like put something like local storage removed item, then actually it's gonna remove. And then
Yes.
if you refresh it,
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. So what we can do here is that local storage, right? That remove item, okay, and to-dos. Okay, so now if I delete it, if I refresh the page, now it's gone. Because when I'm doing local storage remove item to-dos, it is removing basically the to-dos, the whole thing. Okay, it's not removing individually. But what we need to do is that we need to remove individually, right? Instead of remove item to-dos, we have to remove individually. So let's try to do that now. So what I would like to have is that I want to have a function, right? I can also have a function for this guy too, like.
We need to write function to
Yeah.
for local storage also, right?
Exactly. Yep. Function get local storage. Okay. Get local storage. Basically, what I need to do is grab this whole thing. Okay. And paste it over here. So now I don't need this one over here, and I need this guy over here. get local storage and invoke this function, right? So I will be returning this guy over here.
Okay, so I understood. So now because okay, I forgot. But if I were you, like I would just so I don't have to check it again, right? Because I did check, like if it's string data, like if it's this is not null, and then do this,
Yeah,
you know.
it's done over here. Yep, it
Okay,
is done
done.
over.
Yes, that's cool.
It is doing it over here. Okay.
Okay.
If parse storage is null, then it's going to return empty array, which will be assigned back to this over here. Then if it's not null, then this guy will be returned. Then still again, it will be assigned back to to-dos. Console.log. Let me set my, is not defined. Okay. Array 1, set array 1. Okay. If I refresh the page, to-do 1 and to-do 2, since they are over there because we have to-dos. Okay. So we're grabbing, we're still, yeah, it's working fine. This function is still working fine. This is getting a local storage. What I would like to have is function update local storage. Okay, update local storage. For this guy right here, I can receive a data or just type to-dos. Okay, parameter. This data basically array of to-dos. What I would like to do is every time I make some changes, delete it. Okay, every time I make some changes, for instance, delete, right? Where am I deleting? I'm deleting over here. Okay, basically I'm excluding the to-do with the ID, matching the ID. And now this is new to-do. What I need to do is basically local storage, set item to-dos, okay? Oh my goodness, set item to-dos, and put instead of array 1, I need to put new to-dos array. It will just override the to-dos that I have in my local storage. It will just override it. That's the only thing I need to do, okay? So update local storage function, it will receive a new to-dos array, and it will just do local storage dot set item to-dos and JSON dot unify version of new to-dos array. Okay, new to-dos array. Update local storage.
Okay, so the one question Azamat is like the return. You did this with or operator, the logical operator. So it means that if I write just like that, you know, I mean, put an empty array or this operator. So I don't need to check string that is not equal to null and do this, and you know. So then it's enough for me to just write an array and then or operator, right?
Exactly. So this is exactly same as doing this one. Okay,
Okay.
so what we can do here is that if parsed, right? If parsed storage is not equal to null,
No. Yeah.
return parsed storage itself. Otherwise, return empty array.
Okay.
Okay, so now it is returning the to-do that from the local storage. Okay, but if I remove everything from the local storage, just clear it. Since I don't have to-dos, now if I refresh it, it's just grabbing the empty array.
Azamat, update local storage way, do you need to call inside of delete function?
So this update local storage, right? As I said, it will receive the new to-dos array and it will override the existing to-dos in our local storage.
So where do you need to call inside of the delete function?
Inside of the delete function, yes, exactly. So right over here, delete each to-do function over here, right? So to-dos over here, it says we're basically reassigning new to-dos array back to the to-dos, okay? So right over here, I can say update local storage with the to-dos, right? Or I can type new to-dos array, but they're exact same thing, okay? You can definitely type new to-dos array over here, but since I'm reassigning back to to-dos, I can type to-dos itself.
So now it does make sense to reassign it to this because we deleted actually to do, right? Or we still have to reassign it to the new to this.
No, so this create to-dos list will grab it.
The question is the now the variable to this it equals to the function the get local storage. If you
Yes,
go
yeah.
other,
The to-dos inside over here is just the data, new data.
not about this one. I'm
To-dos.
talking about 16. The 16, you see,
Yes.
you are like
Yes.
assigning get local storage. So now
Mhm.
if you assign it inside of the function, so how it's gonna be then? So now after you deleting, you are saying that to do equals to the new to do, right?
Yeah, so yeah, you're talking about right here. Yes, we're reassigning, right?
Yes, we're reassigning, but you are actually reassigning the function itself.
Yeah,
I'm not reassigning the
he's
function. We're
no, he's designing the what is happening inside the function.
Maqsad, here's the thing. I am assigning a new value to the global variable called to-dos.
It
Okay?
was, yeah, like when we did the first time, since our to-dos was just the array, you could
Yes.
do like this, yes. That's why I understand here. But after, when now that our to-do is not the array anymore, it's like the whole function, and you are calling this function by variable to-do, how it's gonna work now?
Where to-dos is not a whole function though. Where is I'm
It's not
sorry.
the function, it's variable. So
Yes.
the last time, the to-do was just empty array, and
Yes.
when you reassign like this, yeah, it was definitely fine. But now I cannot understand. For example, now is to-do is equal to our the function get local storage, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm invoking it. I'm using the returned value from that function. So to-dos is not to-dos is not a function right now. It's just a value. It's either empty array or array with the values.
Okay, let's assume we have a values.
Yes.
But after that, when you're deleting something,
Yes.
you are reassigning. You are reassigning. So even like if the our to-dos is equal to just a function, and even like if you can delete reassign it inside of different function, so it's still gonna change our the local storage. It's very hard to understand, right?
Yeah, actually, he's
to-dos a global variable. Okay, global variable. Whether it's initially empty array or the value, it doesn't matter. If it's empty array, then we don't have anything. We cannot click any delete button or anything else. Okay, but let's assume that it has a value, like we see the to-do 1 or to-do 2. Then if I click delete, right over here, let's assume that I still have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but let's assume that this ID is missing with this 1. Now right over here,
2, 3, 4.
removing this 1. Let's assume that it's matching with 1.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
this one is new to-dos, and I'm assigning
Yes.
new to-dos back to to-dos.
How you can assigning the to-do, but to-do is a function.
That's what I'm saying. To-dos is not a function. I'm just invoking a function, and this function is
Yeah, you are
returning
calling.
value. Yes.
You are calling the function, but okay.
Function is returning a value. Yep.
It still does make sense for me. Like you are actually the variable to do, it's like the calling the function, but you are saying to do is equal to 2, 3, 4. How the no.
That's
me,
one not returning any action, it's just returning.
It's calling. It's calling the function get local storage. Okay.
Yeah, but inside that function, he returned that value. If you can see the parse it in the like parse it, look at inside they told us it's just like a 1, 2, 3. It's like a value of the get local storage.
But we didn't put inside anything. Our function is empty. I mean, like we don't have any parameters. How like each like from another function we send to the another function but which is not globally. It's globally it's only our variable to do, which is only calling. And changing our data, I don't know.
No, what
Maybe I'm stupid, but
what is so
I don't get
we
it.
have a function, right? What's I don't understand what part is confusing, but get name in here, okay? Doesn't matter what we call it, okay? So and then let name is equal to, we're just calling this function get name, right? We're just calling a function, and from this function, I'm just returning Alex. Okay, if I console.log name, what's gonna return? What's gonna be my the hell is that?
Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, Alex, right? It's gonna be Alex.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm doing over here. So instead of returning Alex, I'm returning either data or empty array.
Yeah,
see?
one of them, yeah.
I don't have a question here.
So yeah, but you're saying that this one
J-
is returning a function, but you're saying that to do
No, it's not returning function. It's calling. The variable to do is just calling. It's just revoking the function.
Yes, when we call
I'm
the
asking
function,
about the deleting part. So when you're reassigning, like
yes,
here,
right over here. Yes, we are reassigning back to to-dos.
how you can reassign the to-dos?
What do you mean how we can look right over here? Look right over here, and name is equal to John. And if I see the name now, it's John. What's the difference?
I guess you didn't get me, and I also I explain it to you. Sorry. Okay, never mind.
No, I'm trying to understand you, Maqsad. Did you are you guys having difficulty the same issue as
I
Maqsad?
guess everybody understands except me.
No, the thing is that we can reassign anything we want to the to-dos, like, and it's a global variable. Okay. Initially, this function is just getting a new value. That's it. Returning a new value. It's either empty array or the parsed version of the storage. Okay, that's it. So basically, we're assigning a value, or because of the fact that we are using let, we can reassign when we manipulate these to-dos with the new array.
Before, when the to-do just was empty array, I could understand. When you are assigning, you are just changing that empty array to no new array, and you just deleted something what you don't need. That was very clear for me. But now when you did let to do equal to and you are calling the function, and then after you are reassigning to do for the new array, I don't know for me how it
He
works.
just Maksat, he's just using the variable. I understand you're confusing, but he's just using that.
Are you confused right over here, Maqsad? Are you for instance, let's assume that we don't have we're not calling this function. So initially we had this guy right here, and it was right over here, and this guy was like this. So you understand this part? Is that clear?
Yes, I understand this part.
Yeah, but
So
it's the exact same thing. We're just putting inside the function and returning this guy right here.
So we need to return it or empty array or the data which is storage in our local storage. Okay,
if this one.
That's I understand.
Yep. So what I'm doing is that I'm just grabbing this guy, putting as a return value, and grabbing this guy, putting inside the function, and calling this function over here. And this one will return this guy right here. When I call this function, it is just returning this guy. Okay, that's fine. Instead of using function, we can go this way right here. So this one is understandable, empty array. But now,
are you not planning to
now-
that function more than one times, Azamat?
no, we're not using that function more than one times.
Okay.
So what I was trying to put inside a function is that we can use some sort of another a file, right? And keep everything local storage related stuff inside that file.
Yeah, I got it.
Get local storage or update local storage, everything inside that file, and run from there. Okay, we could do that. It's the same thing goes for okay, the time comes, I will show you guys about the CRUD application that we did, okay? The students list, right? But for now, okay, so for now we can, so this update local storage, forget about it, right? We'll just use this guy right here, okay? So now, instead of update local storage, come down here, and when we are deleting, instead of update local storage, what we can do here, just put local storage, set item to dos, JSON reply, new to dos. Okay. Since we got a new to-dos array, we're just grabbing it and we're just overriding. It's not going to be new to-dos. It's going to be, of course, this to-dos or new to-dos array, right? New to-dos array. Basically, they're equal the same thing, so we can keep it like that. Okay, where else we can update? When we add new to-do, right? When we add, if I type to-do 1, add to-do, when I'm adding new to-do, I have to update the local storage. And that is happening inside save each to-do function. No, that's different. That is for updating the to-do list, every single one of them. So create, we're just creating it.
Azamat, you know, I understand it now. I
You
just
understand it now?
totally forget it. I just totally forget about the update local storage. I was like thinking how it could be updated, but now I understand it. It's like it's because we're updating. That's why with the function update local storage, the storage data is gonna be changed.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. So
I
it
don't
will be
know why, but I just only could see the get local storage and the to do variable. I don't know why, but I missed the update local storage.
Right.
Now we can go back and
Now,
Yes,
okay,
we
let's go back.
go back.
Let's go back. Yeah, I totally. I just didn't see the update local storage. I don't know why.
It's
Sorry,
okay,
guys.
it's okay, it's okay. So I can delete this guy and bring this. Get local storage will return this over here, right? And update local storage is just updating the local storage, okay? So I can grab this guy, and when we are deleting it over here, instead of this guy, so, and I just update this one over here, update local storage. It does the same thing, right? And at the same time, when I'm adding new to do over here, this guy is doing that the whole thing, right? When I'm adding new to do, basically right over here, after I'm pushing new to do, my to dos will contain this new to do, right? So right over here, I have to type update local storage with to dos, because to dos over here is different than over here, right? Because to dos over here did not contain new to do, but after this pushing it, it will continue to do, and our to dos is updated. That's why we are updating the local storage. Save it. So now if I do to do 1, add to do, and if I refresh the page, see, it still stays there. And if I deleted it, if I refresh the page, now it's gone. To do 1, add to do 2, add to do, and if I refresh the page, it's still persistent. Application to dos, we have both to dos over here. All right, so updating it, check each to do function over here. So to dos for each, if to do that ID is equal to ID, then we're converting this completed version. So basically, my to dos over here is different than to dos over here. This one is updated. So update local storage with new to dos. All right, so application, I want to bring this guy down here. So if I click this guy, as you guys can see right here, it turned true. If I click this guy, it turned true. If I click back, it turned false, back, false, right? Click it and refresh the page, it will still stay as true. Delete, we did delete. Okay, edit each to the functions, save right over here. Same thing. update local storage with to-dos. All right, bring it back. So edit 100, save it. And if I refresh the page, it is still there.
And also for the edit, you need that or no?
For the what?
For the edit, each to the.
I just did it. Yeah, I just did it.
Okay.
Edit, save it, and it's saving. So if I refresh the page, it is still to do one over here. Okay, so if I edit and bring it back to 0, it was to do 200. Pay attention right here. If I click save, it changed it back to do 2. This is in the local storage.
Azamat, I had one problem, like when I did it to do, I did everything, like I created everything and then I did an append child. But can you go to this, because you did it with this string? I mean, you just copy paste the HTML part to this. Can you go to, I mean,
Oh,
up?
right
Yeah,
here,
here.
yeah.
You know, in this here, I had I had to write very strange, because you didn't. Oh, okay, you used the value. Okay, I also did the same, but this for me, creating everything and do an append child is much more easier than I do this.
Oh, so you didn't use this backticks?
Yeah, yes, I did, but still I had to do like kind of confusing, and then I had to, like, in value, I had to write the input value, you know. So of course mine still did work, but for me it was much more easier within create and
Yeah.
append child, which is a lot of code, but still.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, send me the code. I will check it out. I mean,
Yeah,
let's see
I will.
how did you input. But did you achieve it? Is it working fine?
Yeah, it's working fine, but when you do, this one is a little bit not flexible.
Okay.
But when I create, I can do all manipulation there, which
I
is so easy for me.
Okay. All right. Let's take a 10 minutes break. How about that? And then we'll really quick do the same thing over here. It's going to be exact same thing basically. Okay. Or maybe I will just give it to you guys as a homework. I just convert this the object version to basically you have to change over here, right? This is main array, and you have to do it main object. Don't forget to convert this one first, right? So don't forget to use this script, not this one, when you were converting this main object. Cool. Let's take a 10 minutes break and we'll come back and we'll continue.
Azamat,
Yes, go ahead, please.
can you scroll up to update local storage function, please?
Yeah, right over here. Yes, update local storage.
Ah, okay, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. So we made some changes. Git editor, git new changes, git push. All right, latest changes are push it down there. All right, so we're done with this, guys. Meal Finder. Have you guys done this project?
No.
Cool. This is a really cool project. It's going to be very similar to the to-dos. Right? I mean, most of the DOM projects are very similar to each other, right? We're going to reach out to the meals database. There's three the same domain, but the three how do you say, three endpoints. Okay, this endpoint, random PHP endpoint, will generate a random meal for us. Okay, so basically the meals array will contain one meal, Every time we refresh the page, right, this will generate a random meal. Okay, it will contain only one meal. But this guy right here is a lookup. We'll try to look up based on the query param, and that is based on the ID. This meal has an ID that is matching over here, and this is going to be our query. Okay, in the input in the UI, in the input over here, we're going to type some sort of no, this is not going to be related to this one though. Okay, querying this API endpoint will be, for instance, if I type egg, if I click this guy right here, I'm clicking that that HTML tag, and it has an ID, and it will query this guy over here. Okay, it will query this endpoint, and it will find that meal. If I click it, it will show over here. And this guy over here, that search PHP, will search individual meals. I mean, it will return still, it will return a bunch of array of meals that contains egg inside. Okay, that contains egg inside. For instance, if I type over here, I already type egg over here. Okay, if I type milk, search, it is querying this endpoint with the end milk. Okay, it is returning only one item, and it is listing out only one item over here.
So we're using two data, right?
We are using the same database, but for different purposes. This will return only one meal. This will return only one meal based on the ID, but this search will return multiple meals. If I type egg, that's my search query over here. It returns multiple meals. Okay. This is how it looks like initially, right? This is how it looks like. Refresh the page, nothing in there. Right? This is going to work by searching any type of meal, right? Eggplant, eggs, milk, whatever you can think about the food, you can type as a search key over here. The other option is random meal. If I click this button, it will randomly generate a meal over here because it is going to query this endpoint. Right? It will query this endpoint. Random meal, it's querying this endpoint, and then it's generating random meal over here. Okay, refresh the page. But this one right here, it is searching every single meal that is related to the egg. Search, and it will list out over here. Once it's listing it out, I can click any meal to see additional details about that meal, right? Salmon eggs benefits, so Benedict, this is the result. As you guys can tell, this result is the exact same result as I click random meal. Okay, right here. That's the same result. That's it. So it's going to be API endpoint call to reach out to the database and basically just listing the UI. How does it look like in terms of index.html? Let me take a look. You guys remember we have collection. DOM starter code collection. Get this code, and we do have right over here, it's called meal finder. I'm sharing it again over here. Okay, meal finder, and API endpoint is given over here. List of meals after typing search term, for instance, egg, will list out every single meal. Click any meal listed in the list of meals will display selected meal info at the bottom. At the bottom, right over here. Random meal button clicked. When we click random meal button, it will list out, one random meal, information about one random meal. That's it. I get the code from there, and we'll get started now.
And where is the data from?
Data will grab it from the API endpoint. Okay, we'll grab it from the API endpoint. If you open up this script.js file, this is right here. Get the random reel. This is API endpoint. Okay, and search a meal by ID. This is our API endpoint. And search a meal by string input. An example, s is equal to egg right here at the end. This is our API endpoint. Basically, we're going to use 3 different API endpoints, but they belong to the same domain though, right here. JSON v1 1, right? API JSON version 1.1, API JSON version 1.1. Cool. Let me see right over here. You know what? Let me grab it myself too. Git clone.
Azamat, is it possible to git pull? It's like before we download that clone.
Yeah, if you fork it before, right? If you fork it before, you can sync the fork. Sync the
I
fork.
did.
Yes, if you
Sync
then
the
you
fork
can, you can pull your own data story code collection to your so when you click code over here on your own under your own account, you should see your own name over here, not my name. Then you can
Yes.
copy and then just to git clone it. Or if you already git clone it on your local machine, then you can just go to that repository and git pull it. But of course, you have to sync it first, right? You have to, because mine is updated and your forked version may not be updated.
Oh, it worked. Thank you.
Cool.
I put it.
Meal finder. What am I looking at? Meal finder.
The question is, when I did the git pull now,
Mm-hmm.
it copied the meal finder, but
Mm-hmm.
what's gonna happen with other folders? For example, we have the same folders like world countries, but in my part, I edit something. It's gonna like overchange it or
Well,
like replace it, or it's still gonna stay in my work.
there's gonna be the conflict. Okay, it's gonna be always conflict. What you are trying to do, right? What you are trying to do is this guy right here. So this was my repository, right? The DOM collection, and you forked it your own account
Yes.
remotely, and you basically
Yes.
cloned it to your local machine. This is your computer.
Mhm.
Okay, this is your computer. You cloned it. Now, basically, it is stored somewhere in your local machine. Over here, you can do anything you want. You can edit it, right? You can edit it, right? You can also push the changes to your own local machine. But when it comes to the syncing it again from if I have some changes over here, right? If I have some changes over here, let's assume that I added new projects. When you sync it, right, there will be conflict because you pushed new changes over here.
I didn't push. That's the main point. I didn't push it.
Okay, yeah. If you didn't push it, then you can keep it in the locally. Yeah, that's fine.
I was keeping in them locally, but when I did the git pull now, I see I copied the meal finder. What's gonna happen with other folders like the world countries, the carousel slides?
Nothing will happen because I didn't change those folders, those projects.
Yes,
Right?
you didn't change it, but I changed it locally. I
Yes,
didn't
that's
push
fine.
it, yes,
Yes,
but
that's
I
fine.
didn't change.
If I change it world countries or other projects and you synced it and you pulled it down, and let's assume that somehow before you pull it, you also changed world countries, right? So your code will be different than my code, okay? And then there's going to be
Yes.
conflict. Your GitHub will ask, would you like to keep the incoming one, or would you like to keep the one that you already updated, or would you like to keep both of them at the same time? Right? You have to just resolve the conflict. That's it. That's it. But what I'm trying to say, you guys, just keep this one isolated from all other projects. This is only for, I mean, whenever you cloned it, don't change that the cloned project, right? Don't change that cloned repository, which contains all of the projects. What you can do is open up a new repository and get the code to there. Just copy paste it. And you can work on that individually over here. Or you can create a collection of projects that's completed, right? And you can finish it up and you can push it to the new project repository remotely and keep it over there. Just don't update this one, or just don't update the collection, DOM collection starter codes on this one that you cloned. And of course, you can do whatever you want, but later on, if you have a conflict, then you have to resolve the conflict, right? It's just a mess. Cool. So what I would like to do is, again, file. Let's see if I can. I did the same thing, guys. I cloned DOM starter code collection. What I'm trying to do is, here we go. File. Oh no, I need to click it first. This one, file, open. Mule Finder demo. Open. Okay, right over here. I'll just come down here and copy it, or just move it right over here. Now, do you want to copy images or add images as a folder to the workspace? Copy folder. Cool. If I do go live, all right. Looks like I forgot my style.css file. All right, so I forgot my style.css file, guys. What I would like to do is, okay, this is my style.css file. Apparently, I forgot in my original. Okay. Please sync up the this guy right here. Sync your fork. I updated just now. I added style.css. Apparently, I forgot the style.css file. Okay, add that to your, and then pull it. Once you do that, we should be able to see like this. As soon as I put my style.css connected to my index.html, we should be able to see it over here, right? So as I was saying, let me bring this. Where is my? Oh, Mule Finder. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna copy this one and bring it over here. This is the finished version. Okay, this is the finished version. So if I type egg and okay, search it. Okay, this is the list, right? This list is basically the list of meals over here, right? List of meals over here, but it is hard coded. If I uncomment this one out, right, or uncomment this one, save it. This is how it looks like. But this data will come from API endpoint. Okay, as we loop through it, we'll just grab this one right here and loop through the data and display it over here. Basically, we'll just add to this parent div, like you guys remember, right? In the inner HTML plus equal to, and add this div individually. Okay, this is how we're gonna add. But for now, it's just hard-coded. It's not doing anything. Because of the fact that we have all the CSS stylings, and this mule info is displaying on top of each mule with the help of CSS styling. Okay, now let me bring it back. Save it, nothing. Another thing is that the single meal, right? Single meal means if I click this guy right here, meal information will be displayed over here. Now this guy is basically the whole thing over here is a single meal, right? Everything that we have over here is the single meal. Over here in our project, okay, nothing is working still. But if I comment this one out again, now this is displayed. This is still hard coded. Everything is hard coded. Now our data contains all of this information. What we need to do is basically just UL, right? We just need to loop through it and generate these LIs. Loop through it and generate these LIs. Of course, this one is also based on the data. Based on the data meaning over here. This is the instructions, meal instructions that we see over here. And ingredients is a little bit different. The ingredients will be these guys right here. Okay, these are the ingredients. For the eggplants, there's only 7 ingredients. Let's go back. Is it 7?
Yeah.
Oh, this is for the salad. This is for salad. So if I click egg, okay, and let's just try to see which one is this. Crispy eggplant. Egg and crispy eggplant. If I click it, now there's only 7 ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Based on the list that I have over here, it is. I mean, there's a lot of ingredients, like 20 of them, but most of them they don't have the value part, right? It's empty string. So we will avoid displaying this part, and we'll try to display only the 7 ingredients that have the values only. You guys see right here, right? These ingredients are, right, only this part right here. What we are doing over here is just string concatenation, right? Basically, these ingredients are plus the measurement, right? This one is string ingredient 1 plus string ingredient measure 1. We'll combine it by dash in the middle. That's it. Just the dash. String concatenation, just the dash in the middle. We'll come to that point where we'll try to display the same thing. Okay, so this is single meal. If I bring it back, we don't have anything, right? Cool. Script.js. Let's take a look what we have. Again, we are reaching out to the HTML tags from index.html that are needed inside our script.js file. And as you guys can see, I have only one constant, and using comma, I can just create all other variables without const in the beginning.
Azamat, it's like you are just wanna avoid using constant, or you have some kind of purpose for that one.
I mean,
Shortly.
it's like a shortcut, yes. So instead of using
Okay.
comma, you just could put the comma in at the end.
I mean, like, it's not necessary for some like special situations or like
No,
special
no, no.
function.
No, it's not specific to the one purpose. It's just a shortcut.
Okay.
Basically, JavaScript says that instead of creating each variable separately in a single line, I mean in a different line, you can put all of them in a single line with the comma separated, and the const will be in the beginning. Cool. The search over here, let's find out which HTML tag belongs to which one, okay? The search over here is the search that we have over here. And that's going to be, yeah, ID search. Are we searching by ID? Yes, everything is get element by ID. So basically this input right here, search input. And we have a submit, get element by ID, submit. That's going to be our, oh yeah, this ID submit. We're submitting the form, okay? Random is just a button, random over here, ID random, when you click the random button. Meals element to display, right? These meals over here. But of course, if there are meals, we'll display. If there's no meals, we'll just type over here, no meals found, okay? If the meals array is empty. Result heading, that's a single meal.
It was before meals.
Yes. If data exists, search results for blah, 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 it will show over here. If data doesn't exist, it will show there are no search results. Try again. Okay, try again. So basically, if I type, click enter, there are no search results, and try again. But if I type egg, okay, it should display search results for egg and display the meals data. Click it. Search results for egg and display the data. Cool. All right, let's.
I thought my internet was stuck for a second.
Yeah, I cannot talk all the time, guys. I was just taking a break. Anyway, so how can we start now, right? We know that we can create our meals, and we know that let's try to reach out to the data.
Great.
Okay, let's try to fetch the data first. Initially, okay, we'll try to do fetch data.
With try fetch, try catch, or with just fetch and then.
Yeah, we'll just try it with the regular fetch, and we can convert this to the other one. Okay, fetch data function. Fetch data. Okay, and just fetch which URL. We have to choose which URL we need to deal with. All right, so as we said, random URL will be when we click random button, right? Random meal button. And search URL by ID will be when we click this guy, individual guys. All right, but search by query string will be when we type something inside over here. Okay, let's try to do random meal first. Okay, get random meal first. So random meal, we do have a button over there. Okay, so we're gonna add. Let's start from there. Random is the button that we click over here, and add event listener. Click event, and we're gonna have a function. Okay, basically, let's just get this function out of here. We're gonna call it get random meal function. Okay, get random meal function. So function get random meal function over here. And now it is time to call this function. What we are doing over here. Now we have to run fetch data. Okay, fetch data. We have to invoke it, but of course we have to create a function for that fetch data. We can definitely run the fetch directly over here, but let's just we're gonna do other stuff inside get random mail. That's why let's just keep it in a separate function over here. Okay, so what's gonna my fetch data function will do?
Random
Fetch dot
random
put the random URL. Then
Fetch random URL. Okay, that then. Okay, that then. And that catch. Console.log error. Okay, so as this one right here was returning a response, and we said that we have to convert that JSON to regular object, right? So as we know that this is a single line of code, and without the return, it's already returning this rest.json, right? Whatever we're returning here, we're going to catch that over here. Right? You guys know that already, right? So, and then we can do whatever we want on this part over here. But if I return this data over here, then I have to do another then and deal with that data again. Data. Okay, that's the exact same thing. If I'm returning something, right, then run this function. If I'm returning something, then run that function. Since we're not returning anything out of this function, then we can end it over here, right? And we can deal with that function, with that the data over here. But there's no need to return this data from here, okay? But I just want to show you guys that if you return something out of this callback function, right, then you have to resolve that with the .then promise chaining over here. If you are returning something over here, then you have to resolve it in the next .then promise chain callback function. Since we're not returning anything, we don't need this .then. Same thing for this data over here. We're not returning anything. We're just dealing with that data. We are using that data. Any questions?
No.
Cool. So we have at event listener click get random mule function. Get random mule is invoking this one, and we're just fetching and console logging in the UI. Let me check my inspect. Bring it down on this side. Console. Close this one out. Refresh the page. Nothing. But if I click random mule, cool. It is returning this guy. So it is returning an object. Okay. This data is an object. And inside the object, I have meals, key, and the value is an array. The value is an array. Meals is the key, and the value is an array. And inside my array, I only have one meal, which is Jamaican seafood. It's a random food. This one is also this endpoint is also generating a random food. It's randomly selecting any food. And French onion, so look at that. The treacle tart, if I refresh the page, that means it beef pie, right? It's randomly selecting and returning one meal only. One meal only. That's why it's just random.php. It just returns random meal. Since it's returning a random meal, okay, since it's returning a random meal, I would like to create a function that it's this one, right? It's this guy right here. It's not meals, but this single meal. I would like to generate a function that adds this single meal into the UI. Because That's the one we would like to see it, right? In the original, the working application, if I click random meal, it is returning this div right here, single meal div, right? It is returning this single meal div. Oh, why we have, okay, so this is the parent single meal, but we also have a class single meal. Single meal. Okay, that's the single meal element. We're gonna put it inside, I guess. Yeah, cool. So what I would like to do now is that function add meal to DOM.
Single.
Add single, yeah, we can definitely name it as single meal to DOM. Add single meal to DOM. All right. So this one, as we said, it is returning an object and the key meals array 1. What I would like to do is, right? What I would like to do is I want to grab the first element. Basically, there's only one meal. Every time we click random, every time we query the random endpoint, we are getting only one meal. So I would like to grab the first element out of that data. So it's going to be data that meals, right? And 0 index. I'm grabbing that object, right? I'm grabbing that object and I have to just pass this object into this function over here. Single meal. I'm receiving as a parameter, okay? But right over here, I would like to call that function. Add single meal to DOM and pass this data that meals and grab that object. So basically a single meal is an object, right? It's an object and it contains a lot of information. It contains all of this information.
We only have one key meals, right? We don't have any other keys.
There's only one, yep, there's only one key, that's meals, right? This object contains meals and the value is array. An array has an object inside and that's only one meal.
And Azamat, the line 31, so you gave an argument. You gave the parameter. Like single meal is kind of like, it's nothing to do with another's, right? You just gave you can give anything.
Oh, yes, it can be anything. Yes, it's just a parameter. Yes. Yep, it can be anything. This is just a parameter. And right over here, we're just passing the value. I mean, if you'd like to create the new variable for this one, say like constant meal is equal to data that meals the first element, and I will just pass this meal. Add single meal to DOM, and I'm passing this meal, which is an object. And right over here, I'm receiving this single meal, right? Meal is equal to single meal.
Yeah.
Okay. Meal to single meal.
Let's do inner HTML.
What?
Let's do inner HTML.
Exactly. Inner
Distract.
HTML. Let's do inner HTML. So I'm going to grab the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Here we go again.
Okay.
Can you show one more time from where you copied?
I copied from right over here. This guy right here.
78. Okay. 78.
Yeah, 78. So the class, yeah, the class starting with the single meal, the class meal, right? Not ID. The ID is the parent. Yes, the ID is the parent.
Okay.
Okay, we grabbed it, and right over here, constant single meal. Oh no, single meal. Okay, single meal element. Okay, is equal to put this one inside. Oh boy. I'm gonna push this, guys, and just as soon as I highlight it, I can just click tab, right? The tab is just moving down to the right side. If I would like to go back, shift tab, it will move back. Tab will forward, shift tab will move back. Cool. All right. As I said, the single meal contains a lot of information, right? So this one was the instructions, the recipe instructions. Basically, str instructions, okay? Str instructions. What I can do here is that delete the whole thing over here and put $1, okay? And a single meal that is coming from here, dot str instructions. Did I copy that one? Paste it? No. Single meal, copy, and put it right over here.
Maybe it's better to destructure it first.
Good idea. Let's go. All right, let's destructure it, guys. So constant, what I need, str instructions from single meal, okay? What else I need? Right over here, eggplant adobo. Let me click this one first. Yeah, it's not displaying, but I still need to
HTML.
let me console log it. Still console log it. Okay, so no, console.log meal. Yeah, let me console log it. Okay, so here we go. Sources, no. So it's gonna be str meal. Yeah, str meal. Okay, this is what I need. I need str meal for eggplant over here. That's gonna be pilchard puttanesca, whatever it is. $1 str meal. I don't need this one anymore. Okay, str instructions. Oh, come on. All right. This time is a little bit different. Okay. For the image over here, this is random image. I don't want that. Okay. What I want is that str meal thumb. Copy it. Bring it over here, the structured first. And then for src, just $str meal thumb. Okay. If I click this guy, guys, I copy this one and paste it over here. Yeah, this is the image. It will show up in the UI, right? It should show up in the UI once we are done. All right, cool. I think for eggplant, we can still put for alternative for the image is exactly the same name as meal name. Save it. Cool. The category over here. I have the category over here is the vegetarian, and the str area is the Greek, right? Filipino. Okay, so str area and str category. So str area comes down over here, and vegetarian is the category. Cool. All right. What about this, the UL part? That is gonna be for ingredients, right? There's like 20 ingredients over here. 20 ingredients. And as we said, we only want the ones that has the value, not the empty strings. Right? So we have to figure out right over here, we have to figure out a way to create a string of allies, just like with the help of string literal, okay? A template literal. So for that reason, as far as I can tell, every time I click random meal, it is always generating, right? It is always generating a meal with the 20, okay? With the 20 ingredients, always. Whether you get multiple meals, it is always 20 meals. So for that reason, right? For that reason, I would like to run a for loop until 20. I would like to run a for loop until 20. You guys can come up with something else like a dynamic, right? Some meals, let's assume that random meals sometimes generates like a 21, 22, 23, and sometimes it generates 20. You guys can come up with the idea or some sort of solution to accommodate that dynamic part. But for now, I would like to just run a for loop until 20, okay, and then generate the strings. The strings need to contain, right? The strings need to contain, for instance, like this. String ingredient dash string measure. Okay, it should show something like this. Basically, it should show this guy over here, dash 3. Okay, 3. Beetroot 3. It should show something like that. But in the real application, something like this, guys. And so X 4. X 4. Okay, this is our ingredient for each li. All right. What I would like to do is that I would like to create an array, constant ingredients. Right?
Yeah.
This array ingredient will contain individual allies, like this. Okay, it will contain individual allies as a string. Oops, I forgot to put the string like that, and etc. Will contain like that. Okay, so basically, I would like to run a for loop, and each time I run the for loop, I will generate these guys and push it inside this ingredients array. And at the end, I would like to use join. Okay, I would like to use join. Just put empty string so that I can join all of these allies together and put it inside over here. You guys get the point?
Yeah.
Let's try to do that. So for loop, let I starting from 0, I is less than or equal to 20, and I plus plus. Okay, I plus plus. So I have to select, right? Somehow I have to select each ingredient from this single meal dynamically. Okay, dynamically. So how can I, if I would like to select in each loop, what I can do here is that single meal and put it inside as, for instance, this guy right here, I can reach out like this, right? str ingredient 1. Okay, I can reach out dynamic and like this. Or I can do,
We can create an array of this.
yeah. So I can either reach out like this, okay, or with like this, with the string, of course, okay, like this. As you guys can see right here, what is changing is that the numbers over here, right, until 20. So I can make this part dynamic and use index for that. Now let's just start index from 1 because every ingredient starts from 1. Okay, so right over here, I can do str ingredient 1 instead of 1. I would like to do plus I. Okay, plus I. Basically, this one is equal to 1, right? And for the first loop. And the next one, it's going to be 2, 3, 4 until 20. Basically, I will get all of these ingredients, the values. Okay, I will get the values. And I can put right inside over here. So what I can do here is that constant single ingredient is equal to, put this guy right here, and li. And this part over here is str ingredient, and this part is over here is str measure. str measure. All right, str measure. Cool. So single meal, copy this guy, put it right over here. Put a $sign like this. Why is it showing like that? It's so weird. And on the right side, it's going to be str, not ingredient, but it's going to be str measure. Okay, I didn't copy it over here. str measure plus I. Okay, but at the end, in each loop, will look like this. Measure 1, ingredient 1, measure 2, ingredient 2, etc. Okay, it will create a single ingredient over here. And now I can push this single ingredient to my ingredients that push single ingredient. At the end, what is it going to look like is ingredients. Click it. If I click random meal, this is how it looks like. All right, every single li has been generated. All right, cool. What's happening over here? Hazelnuts, single meal, str ingredient.
You forgot to put the $sign. You need to put every single $sign.
You are absolutely right on that. And at the same time, I put in a completely wrong spot. So this one, I need to cut it and put it right over here as a $sign. Yep. Single meal, str measure plus I. Okay, let's run it again. Random meal. Cool. Much better. So as you guys can see right here, right? As we said, some of them are empty. Right? These guys are empty and it looks really weird, right? It's not displaying it. So how can inside my for loop, how can I eliminate that part? If I have it, then I have to create a single ingredient and push it. If I don't have it, then I don't have to. Right? It's very simple, right?
Yeah.
We can check by if it's if, okay, I'm typing on the console over here, guys. If I say AA, right? Oh my goodness, console.log A, right? Close it. Now, AA is typing because this is what is valid. It's true to value. But if I type instead of AAA, if I type empty string, it's going to be undefined. Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that if my value for string ingredient, right? If my value for string ingredient is available, it's not empty string, then do this one. Otherwise, do not do anything. So if single meal dynamically reaching out to I need to grab it from here. Dynamically reaching out. If it's available, this guy right here, single meal, this one right here inside I. Okay. If single meal str ingredient plus I, basically each of them, right? Each of them. This str ingredient 1 is not empty, then generate this single ingredient and push it to the ingredients array. If it's empty, do nothing. Right? Let's see the result at the bottom. As you guys can see, these are the results. It's not displaying the remaining empty strings. We're basically checking if this is str ingredient is the value is not empty. In that case, just generate this constant single ingredient and push it to the ingredients array. All right. Cool. So now we have generated an array of allies. So now how do I put it right over here, an array of allies? So before I put it over here, I cannot just put the array over here, right? I cannot just put ingredients over here. I have to put the string version. So basically, I can combine these, right? I can just run the join function that relates to the arrays. We can join those allies together and make it one single string and shovel it inside this UL. So for that, right over here, constant string ingredients is equal to ingredients that join and empty string. And now I can grab these ingredients, right? String ingredients, and put it right over here. $1, like this.
Azamat, can you show one more time the constant string ingredients with it?
Yes, constant string ingredients that join.
It's just transfer to the, not transfer, you just change to the string.
Yes, it will just change to the string. Yep. So this is what we right here.
What was your next step?
Copy object. It's an array of strings, right? Now if I say AA, that join with empty string, now it's a very long string. It's a very long string. Okay. And now I just put that very long string inside this UL. That's it.
Okay.
So now, where do I put this single meal element? I just put it inside where? This single meal, right? Single meal. And I think I grabbed this one as single meal element. And that's the parent of that's the parent of this single meal. Okay. So single meal element that inner HTML, okay, is equal to single meal element. Cool. Let's try to run it now. Click run the meal. Boom. mastered champ. Is that mastered champ? Yes. Mastered champ, it's an Irish, and it's the str category is the side, and the ingredients is potatoes 1 kilogram, right? Potatoes 1 kilogram, and milk 200 milliliters, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And we are ignoring all of these remaining empty strings. And step 1 is just what instructions from this API endpoint.
Azamat, one more time about the for loop where we
Yes.
check the if true or false. So there's 44 line, 44. So we are saying if single element, a single meal, the string ingredient +1, it's not empty, then do this. So how the if else statement understands it if it's true, false, or like it's
Based,
because if else.
yeah.
I mean, like if it's empty, he can understand it's false immediately, right? Because if else statement. But since we have something inside of our here 44. So if we have something,
Yep.
then
Give me console.log. Let's try to see what we see over here, right? So the I is going to be the index. Okay.
yes, and the potato, milk, butter, one by one. We'll see.
Right. So if I bring my console a little bit up and click random meal, inside my for loop, right? Index is 1 because we're starting from 1. And
Yes.
the str ingredient 1 is flowery potatoes. All right. We're going until 20, right? 1 until 20. These are indexes, on the left, and in the middle dash dash. And if you see on the right side, we have empty strings. And we know from the if else statement, right? We know from the if else statement, if I have something like a letter that's a valid, truthy letter or word, it will print out whatever I console log inside this code block. Okay, inside this if code block, right? That's the state. If a condition over here and it's true, then it will run this one. But let's say if this one is empty, what's gonna happen?
False.
Yeah, it's false. It's not gonna run this console log, right? It's just skip it. That's what we are doing over here inside if statement. If this str ingredient 1 is not empty, then generate li single ingredient and push it ingredients. Since when we come here, right over here, it's empty, then we're not doing anything.
Let's skip it.
We're just skipping it.
Okay.
We're just skipping it, and we're just not generating individual li. Okay, these are all of these are li's. And tahini lentils. It's a randomly generated another Moroccan food, and there's a lot of 9 ingredients. Or 10, yes, starting from 0. Yeah, cool. We are able to see our ingredients. It's fine, and we are able to push our single meal in HTML. Cool. That's it for generating the random meal. All right, so that's for the random meal. But what happens? All right, let's try to do the other one. Okay, we'll try to do the other one. Right, adding meals meaning egg, right? Adding these guys. So this one was a single meal to DOM, and we need to create a function. Okay, add meals to DOM. All right, add meals to DOM. But that one right here, when are we going to run this function depends on when we are searching something right over here. Okay, when we are searching something. So for that reason, we have that search over here is this guy right here, based on the form. Okay, when we click this submit, it says please enter a search text. Okay, when we click submit, we just reach out to this input, and then based on that input's value, we run some functions. We run fetch basically. Okay, so I already got this based on the ID submit. We already have that one. So submit. Okay, that's the form. Okay, so submit, get element by ID, submit. That's the form. Submit that at event listener. And the event will be submit. And we're going to have a function. But for this function, let's just create a function separately. Let's just call it search meals. We're not invoking it, but right below it, you can run function search meals. And again, guys, when it comes to the form submission, we need to somehow prevent the default behavior of the form. What was the default behavior of the form?
Well, so search, you're talking.
Yeah, what's happening right now, guys? What's happening right here? Pay attention to this one right here.
It's refreshing. We need to default
Yes.
refresh.
Exactly. The default behavior of the form, because this is the form right here, right? This whole thing is a form, and we grabbed by ID. And when we click this submit button, right, it is completely refreshing the whole application. So we have to prevent the default behavior of the form, which is refreshing the whole application. And that is going to happen with e.prevent default. Okay, this E is basically event, and we can type event and that prevent default.
It's like in our homework that tracker expense.
I think that was
like
yes,
it was
expense tracker. Yep,
Mm.
exact same thing. All right, so search meals. Cool. We're preventing the default behavior of the form. So let's get the event that targeted value. Not that one. So event that targeted value was for the input. Okay, but we already got the search over here. That's the search, and that is the input right here. ID search, and that refers to the ID. Okay, we already got to our over here. So basically, search that value, right? So constant query string is equal to the search has a value. Search is an input, and it has a value. And now we have to trim it first. Ooh, what happened there? Value that trim it. Oh my goodness.
Finish.
Value.
Show us one more time. What was the search?
Search is the input inside the form. This is the form, and we have
Oh, okay, it's for input. Okay.
yep, ID search, and we are doing get element by ID search. And basically, this is search input. Okay, search input. Come down here. This is search input. That value that trim. We need to trim it first. And now we can do if else. If I have a query string, right? If I have a query string, basically, which means that it's not an empty string, right? We already did it over here in the console. If I have a query string, it's not an empty string, then I can run my fetch, regular fetch. But of course, when I fetch it, right, as I said, when we type something and run, we're gonna run this right here, search by S. This is S for string. I is for ID, S for is a string. right? That's going to be our search by query string URL. I need to grab this guy right here, and inside my fetch over here, I have to pass this query string too. So backtick, put this, oh, sorry. Backtick, right? You know what? It's going to be just search by query string plus query string. You guys agree? Search by query string already this one, and we're just adding the query string at the end. That's it.
Do you need to
Okay.
change to lower value?
No, we don't have to change anything.
I mean, like if you put, for example, query string, if you write down with the upper cases, it's not gonna work. Maybe we need it to lower cases as well.
That's a good question. Yeah, let me type egg. It is still displaying. So my API endpoint is still returning something for me, right? If I type milk, it is still returning milk. So it depends on the API endpoint. So basically, it doesn't matter. So this one, X is returning egg meal, right? All of the meals. And if I type capital egg, it doesn't matter. API endpoint is still returning. I think it's just converting back to the regular small lowercase letters. Okay, it is still returning string related meals. So it doesn't matter. So we don't have to lowercase it. Cool. We are fetching it. Now we just need to copy paste what we have over here because I don't want to type it the whole thing. Copy this guy and put it next to fetch. Right? The rest of JSON is the same thing, then that data. And now we have meals. We need that array. Okay, we need that array. Basically, instead of grabbing the first item, we need this data.meals. Cool. So instead of running this add single meal to do meal to dump, what time is it? 7:44. Oof. I created a function, right? Did I create a function? Yeah, right here. I want to bring this function all the way down. Add meals to dump. Okay, add meals to dump. So as I said, this data is an object, and inside we have meals key and the values array. So I would like to grab this value, right? So I need to, it's gonna be meals, data.meals, meals. Well, let's just not create additional variable. You can grab this guy and paste it into add meals to dump and paste this data.meals. Data.meals is grabbing this array value, right? Basically, we're passing array of objects, array of meals. Cool?
Yes.
Cool. So, cool. So now we're grabbing meals over here.
You're using this add meals to DOM only line 90 and the 97. You don't have in the upper in
Now, yeah, so yeah, we're searching it, right? When we type something, if we have query string over there, then we are trying to fetch something over here, right? When we are fetching, we're just pasting this URL and with the query string, and that is returning a data. The data contains this object, contains meals, array of meals. What
okay.
if, what does it return if we don't have any data? We have to consider that option too, right? We have to consider this option right here. So if I type something that doesn't exist, it will say there are no search results. Try again. But if I type egg, it will return a result, and then I can go over there, right? So constant.log data, okay, and save it. before I process, I mean, that's fine. Console.data. Come over here, and if I type egg, all right, here we go. Meals, and this is all of them related to the egg, and it is returning a value, okay? But what happens if I type something like doesn't exist? Null. Here we go. It's returning null. If we don't have an array, it is returning a null.
Then we need to write if.
Exactly. So what we need to write is over here. So since we got this result heading, right? Since we got this result heading, we have to change the result heading based on if the data exists, then H2, search results, blah, blah, blah. If data doesn't exist, then we have to display this one. Right? Let me copy these guys over from here down to right over here. Ooh. Right. So we're still returning these meals, right? Whether it's a null or we have a data, we're still running this add meals to DOM. Instead of doing this logic, like this logic over here, we're going to do it inside over here. So let's check it first. If meals, right? If meals, else. So we said that if meals is array of meals, if it's an array, then do this one. If it's not an array, if it's a null, then it will run this part right here. Okay, let's assume that it is an array. If it's an array, all right, let's assume that it's equal to null. Right, let's assume that it is equal to null. It is very easy to display the result when it is null, then over here. And when it's null, what we would like to show is result heading that inner HTML is equal to, okay, there are no, right, basically this H2. There are no search results. Try again. This is what we are putting it down there. Again, this is our testing. If I type something and click it, there are no search results. It's displaying right now. But if there is a search result for egg, okay, if there is a search result for egg, it should display something else. But since it put over here, it's not overriding it. So right over here, result heading that inner HTML is equal to search results for D. What is this D?
It's
query
yes.
string, right?
Yeah.
It's actually a query string. Okay, you guys remember right here, if I type search results for egg, because I typed egg over here. If I type eggplant, it will display search results for eggplant. Oh, search results for eggplant. That's search query string over here. So it's over there, right? How do I pass down to this function over here?
Okay, you are so the query string. So it means the search value. It means that whatever you write.
Search value,
Just-
yes.
Yes. What
Have to
whatever
pass
you
it.
are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pass it down to this function. How do I do that? Edit as a second argument, right? Okay, just edit as a second argument, query string. And now I can copy this one over here. Instead of D over here, I can put $, and query string. Save it. Come back to our own project over here. If I type something, it's going to say there are no results. But if I type egg, click it, search results for egg. Now we are able to run it now. So in the else part right here, search results for egg. So
Yes, positive. Yes.
else part, which means that we have meals. So not right over here in the else part, we can display our meals. can display all of these guys right here. That guys are individual right here. This is the diff that will loop through it and generate it. That's it. Loop through it and push it inside this the parent tag. Let me copy this guy over here. Bring it over here. All right. So constant each meal is equal to this one. All right.
Okay. Can you scroll a little bit up?
Yes.
A little bit, yes. The query string is the value of the input. So whatever you write, it just so your
it's going to display when I click this button over here.
display. And
if the meals is null, then it will display this result. If meals is not null, we have data, then it will display search results for eggplant, whatever I tapped over here, because I'm passing it over here down to this function.
Can you go a little bit up?
Yes.
Yeah, here again. Okay. You are getting this result heading HTML result heading.
Yeah, result heading is I'm grabbing it from here and right over here.
Yeah.
Based on the meals, the data, I'm changing that result heading in an HTML. If I don't have data, then I'm displaying this one. If I have data, then I'm displaying search results for egg, and I'm listing out all of the egg-related data over here.
Because
So
query string in the line 104, actually it is the what you write in the on the
exactly
input.
what I wrote over here. Yes, it comes from search input.
From the
Query string. If I have query string, then I'm fetching it, and when I'm fetching it, when I get the data, I'm passing this query string down to this function again. When I pass down, I'm receiving as a query string parameter, and I'm just using that query string parameter over here. So I do have meals. What I can do is I can loop through the meals, okay? Or can I just do meals that for each? Oops. And each meal, we are generating constant each meal, okay? And this each meal contains a lot of information. And one of the things that we said is that if I click random meal, okay, here we go. One of the things that we said is that image, right? That's gonna be str meal thumb, and it comes right over here. $, str meal thumb. Do I have str meal thumb? What do I have to do? I need to destructure this meal. Constant str meal thumb is equal to meal. Now I do have access to that str meal thumb. Egg drop soup, this one can definitely be str meal name. What was that? Oh, I forgot. str meal, just str meal. str meal. str meal. Same thing for this guy right here. I'll just copy this thing over here and put it right over here, str meal. All right, in each loop, I have to put this each constant each meal into what?
You need to in the inner HTML, you need to go random
Meals element. Meals element and inner HTML. Exactly. Yep. Just like you said, meals element dot inner HTML plus equal to
meal.
each meal. Let's try to see if it works. Try something else that doesn't exist. There are no search results. Okay, let's try egg. We get that. Let's try something else. Egg, plant. All right. It is displaying, but as you guys can see, it is doing what? It just keeps adding it, right? It just keeps adding it. What it should do?
Meals element, inner HTML, empty string.
Exactly. Yes, yes. Good one, good one. That's a good one. So that's what we are going to do. All right, guys. What we need to do is, if it's null, right? Where do I put? In the beginning?
Yeah.
New HTML is equal to empty string. There are no search results. Cool. If I type egg, all right, search results for egg. If I type corn, search results for corn. Cool. If I type milk, should be 1, 2. Yep, it is displaying fine. Cool. So, but my search is not clearing. How do I clear?
Input value.
Exactly. So, input value meaning this guy right here, search, right? This is the search input. So it's going to be search that value is equal to, I can just put it right over here at the end. Search value is equal to empty string after I display the values. Okay, so if I type egg, displayed, it's displaying X and then it's just clearing it. But I still have egg over here. Right, query string, I still have that one.
Then
Cool.
you also need to, okay, you want to just keep the search result for egg, right? You want to just keep
Yeah.
the-
Yep. So this is the searching is done. The get random meal is done. It's almost 8 o'clock. We have 1 minute to go. What I want you guys to do is work on this guy right here. Each click. Okay. I click it. I should see the info over here. The same info that we were displaying random meal. Okay. The random meal was displaying this one. What was the random meal is displaying? It's single meal to do, right? It was displaying it's single meal to do. Right? It's the same way. What I want you guys to do is when I click this individual meal that is coming from this guy right here, right? Individual over here. So somehow we need to put on click, okay, to the right here, to this div. Let me do it for you guys. On click and maybe get meal by ID. And we need to pass down the ID of that meal. Okay, every single meal has an ID right over here, ID meal. And we can pass down this ID meal. Of course, we have to grab it from the structuring, right? So this is what you guys need to generate. Get meal by ID, right? Get meal by ID. But of course, inside get meal by ID, just like we are running fetch, you guys need to run fetch and put that ID into this endpoint, into this API endpoint right here. Put that ID into that endpoint. Here's the thing. I do have ID over here. I grab this ID, right? I copy this ID and come down to this endpoint that ending with I and paste this ID over here. If I run it, it will display me lamb potato pie. with this ID at the end.
Okay, I
That's
mean,
That's the whole point. Whenever I click, right, whenever I click any meal from here, I am basically running this function over here, get meal by ID and passing this ID. And from there, inside this function, I'm running fetch, right? When I'm running fetch, I'm basically just like we have over here, search by query string plus query string. In our case, it's going to be search URL plus ID, meal ID. Yep, meal ID, and it will return some data for you guys. It will return some data, and that's gonna be individual meal. Okay, individual meal, and you guys can definitely display that meal. Basically, you just need to once you get the data, you just need to run this add single meal to do, and that's it. Just like this. Basically, this is going to be exactly the same thing as this one. No, sorry, not that one.
The
Where is
single
the
one, right?
Yeah, where is the one that we are grabbing the first index?
The single one.
I'm tripping right now. Where is it? What? Oh, this guy right here. Yeah, it is actually, yeah. So data.meals and meal, and we're just displaying it. Yeah, it's going to be the exact same thing as random. Yes, random URL.
Okay.
All right, that's going to be a homework. Please try to do that.
okay, can you repeat your homeworks? Like we need to do is kind of like when we click.
Yes, the homework is when we click this guy right here, at the bottom, we need to display the information related to that click at the meal.
Okay.
Right? And I already give you guys a hint over here. We have get meal by ID. When I click it, this function will invoke. But when this function invokes, right, I have to run fetch, just like this, right? But for the URL part, I have to put search URL plus ID of that meal.
Okay.
And then when I get the data, right, when I get the data, it's going to be exact same thing over here. The data, I have to just pass it down to add single meal to done. That's it.
And what was the Azamat about the local storage homework?
Oh, this one is not related to the local storage though.
No, before this, you said something about the homework too when we been doing the local storage.
I forgot about that. What was that?
We should do it with
Oh yeah, right. For the object. Yeah, we did for the array. Just try to implement the local storage for the object version.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we had the two options. One is for array, one is for object. So try to do that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in the desktop to-do list. Yeah, let me open it. Let me repeat that. So index.html, we did for the main array, right? This one is done for local storage, but main object is still grabbing empty array. So what do you need to do? Come down here and comment this one out and bring this one back and implement the local storage for main object.
Got it.
Cool. All right, guys, that's it for today.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining the class. I hope you guys learned something today. Wow, it was 8 o'clock, 8:06. Cool, any questions?
No.
No, thank you so much, Azamat.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll see you guys next class. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye, guys.